thing up. Mackie and Judd, Phil out today. He'll be back tomorrow, and he actually is on Purple Daily today as well as we continue. And, let's get back to the fact that I thought that was hilarious, Declan Goff. I thought the fact that Ryan Suter is now with the Stars, because as far as I'm concerned, Parise's just cooked.
Yep.
God bless him. I mean,
He's
God
fine.
bless him. He played a hard physical game for a long time. But just watching him the past couple of years here, and then especially on the game against the Islanders that we went to on Sunday, it's just clear that he's cooked. But, Suits is still Suits. And Rick Bowness, the head coach of the Dallas Stars, last night, post-game press conference, 29 seconds, came in and said, I know what's wrong. I know I'm going to fix it. Talk to you tomorrow, and walked out. I mean, this is like Yosie all over again.
Right.
This is the same type of thing. And I got a note from a guy this morning, that said, I love Judd's hockey show.
Yeah,
like, it's great. I really enjoy
really
it.
good show.
Great stuff.
People love it.
You guys care deeply about the sport.
Very well produced.
It's very well produced. But, he said, we get the fact that the past is the past. You might want to move on from talking about Parise, Suter, Zucker, Granlund. And I sent him an email back, and I said, I don't disagree with you, but it's not us. Dean Evason continues to bring this up. Like when the post game after the win against the Isles on Sunday, when Dean with Parise 2 rooms down essentially says, guys aren't concerned about their points. They're not me first. And then, as we talked about on Judd's Hockey Show last night, the TNT telecast, right, is dropping nuggets left and right about how this is a team. My point to the guy that sent us the note, well, it's not really us. The people with the team who are very influential, i.e. the head coach, continue to bring this up. So how do we ignore it? It's such a key point so far to the early season difference in success. So, I don't really think there's an option right now to just say, you know what, that's exactly right. We are, whatever Dean says, I don't care. Because 1, I do care. And 2, the closeness and togetherness and how this team plays is so drastically different that I would feel like a hypocrite to have sat with you for the last 2 or 3 years and harped on what bothered me, and now that's gone. And for me to say, well, they cleaned it up, I'm dropping it. It's a key part of the transition, I think.
It has, and it's taken a while. It's taken 2+ years for this. And I get the listener's note, and I've also seen other listeners who have said the same thing. Last night they have a dominating win against Arizona, a bad Arizona team, but regardless, a dominating clamps down win. And, well, why aren't you talking about Kakinen? Why aren't you talking about Fiala's big night? Why aren't you talking about Kirill? And don't get me wrong, all those things are worth discussing, and we do discuss those things. But it's taken 2.5 years to shed the baggage of the old guard, and now we're in basically, in words PJ Fleck, last year was year 0, this is year 1. Right, this is really year 1. You still had Parise and Suter last year in their run to a playoffs with the Vegas Golden Knights in 7 games, and now the Wild are off to their second best start in team history. They're one of the best teams in the West. They've positioned themselves to obviously be in the playoff picture and being one of the locks and being a team that could potentially even have home ice advantage through a round or 2. So this is good things for the Wild, and it's important to acknowledge how they got here. And your point to Dean Evason mentioning this to the TV broadcast crew last night, which, again, speaks volumes, I think, to why I'm love hearing other people talk and broadcast about this team, because I'm sure Dean has told the same things to the local affiliate that covers the majority of this hockey season and hockey team, and they don't really bring it up that much.
Yeah, it's true.
So
I can't disagree with you.
I don't hide my feelings from it. I can't listen to the local broadcaster. I just can't. It's nails on a chalkboard unless I'm absolutely forced to.
If Wes Walls is in the booth, because I can
like
learn.
Wes. Yeah, I like Wes.
I can learn from Wes. And plus, Wes is, the thing I like about Wes is he's not as good as Jim Pete is, but
He'll point out.
He wants the Wild to
Yeah.
win, but he will point out different things.
Yes.
And so like it's not that he's not a Wild fan. He 100% is, which
Yeah,
by the way,
that's fine.
I'm fine with.
Yeah, I
I
don't care about
actually like that. But he'll also point out things like that they're not doing right, which is all I want. And I want and I have said this for a long time, any analyst to teach me. Like
Yes.
you played the game. You know more than I know. So if you're just sugarcoating the message, I mean, that doesn't help me.
No.
But yes, I know exactly what you're saying. And Dean is making it clear as day that there is a reason why this has changed.
Quickly, too, before we wrap, when they extended Dean, or I should say removed the interim label and gave him the brief extension, I think both you and I, and probably more you, said, whoa, a little surprising. I thought they would do a vetting process. I thought they'd let this play out.
I did, yes.
Maybe a rush to an extension, even though it's a 2-year extension, you can get out of it quickly. But how much do you think Dean Evason has been the right? I mean, it looks like he is absolutely the right guy.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is it's really clear to me that Bill, Guerin, and Dean are a good team, and that's important. That's the thing. As sports fans, we get so wrapped up in just names of players, and the GM hires the coach and turns him loose. I mean, let's be honest. When Chuck Fletcher took his last stab and hired Boudreaux, I was really excited. Big name. Has had success. Now, not ultimately playoff success, right? But established coach. So I'm like, yes, this is what you need. I was excited. But what we and me lose sight of is look at what Dean and Bill have done together. And this doesn't work if they are not in lockstep. Like this does not. I highly doubt that Dean went to Billy Guerin and said, buy out Suits. Bill went to Dean and said, I think we should do this. And I'm sure Dean said, absolutely, right? But that's the important thing. And that's why I ask questions to Dukes about like Cat. Cat's a big name, and Cat's fun to watch. Is Cat a winning player? This Wild team has Kaprizov, Fiala, and some nice players. But it's not like they've got huge star power up and down. But what do they have? They have a cohesive team. That's why you could put Dex. You could put Fiala with Ek and Foligno, and it works so damn well.
Yeah.
Because they complement each other as players. It's not like Fiala has to play with this guy. And that's how it used to be. Am I top 6? Am I on the top line?
Am I on top power play?
I'm not starting
Right.
OT. And that's why I can't ignore this. That's why I know some people are tired of, the past is the past. But the past defined who this team is now. And they finally listened to a lot of us who went in that locker room and said, this is a cess. This is you said the same thing.
Yeah, the same right.
And like we were barely in there, just post game. It was a cesspool.
Yeah.
It was a damn cesspool.
Yeah, and that's where I agree. I think Dean Evason deserves a ton of credit.
No, you're right. And you're the one that said when they extended him that you liked it. And I'm like, I would have waited.
Yeah.
But these two have worked together in tandem and done great. Last thing, we didn't get to this with Dukes, but how tired is the story of Andrew Wiggins?
Yeah,
35 points last night.
Whatever.
And he was, first of all, I was pissed, though. He posterized Cat once or twice. Carl, what are you doing? Knock his ass down.
Seriously.
Like I get that it's the new, everybody loves each other except for Jimmy Butler and Jokic. But come on. Andrew Wiggins is going hard to the basket, and you're standing right there, and you don't knock this disappointment on his ass, which, by the way, would have taken away his will to play.
Yeah.
But this guy's act is so tired. And did you see his quote, his post-game quote? So
Cat's on Wiggins?
No.
I didn't see that one.
Wiggy.
Oh, what did Wiggy say?
So he was asked, because this is a guy who, if you play Toronto, because he's from Canada, plays well. If you play Cleveland, because they traded him, they drafted him and traded him.
He'll play well.
And he actually said in his rookie year after a big game against the Cavs with the Wolves, he said that was a revenge game. And I thought, oh boy, this ain't good. Last night, he said of his 35-point effort, season high against the Wolves, Not a revenge game, Wiggins said. A well-played basketball game against a former team. That is all that was. Bull, you know what? I'm so tired. And now he's talking about, I'm going to bring that every night. There's a Steph Curry quote where Steph said, I'm going to send him, I think it was one of the dunks on Cat. I'm going to send him the highlight on his phone before every game now because that's who he can be. Welcome to the club of disappointment.
Yeah, dude.
It's the one thing that pisses me off the most, and that's just maddening, is this. That guy has the talent.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine having that much talent? Like, I ask questions about, is Cat a winning player? And I think that's a fair question. But I also don't look at Cat and say, there's a guy who doesn't care. Do you?
No.
Like, he frustrates me at times, and I don't know that he is who we thought he would be as far as the mental approach to basketball, but I think he cares about the sport.
He cares. It's the will I have, the will to be great that I have questions on.
Sure, and that's exactly right, and that's fair. Andrew doesn't give a damn until he does.
Yeah.
And then when he does, you're like, oh my God, you are first overall pick material.
Yeah.
If he was just a slouch who was a bust who didn't play well ever, I'd be like, okay.
Some slappy.
Bad, yeah, slappy. If he was a basketball slappy, I'd be like, okay, that's too bad, but that's him. He's a bust. But you see last night, and how much must that just infuriate people?
I'm with you.
To see that. All right, we are done. Phil back in tow tomorrow. So tomorrow we've got keys, correct?
Keys. Feedback Friday.
We'll
probably talk some Wild, I'm sure. The Wild at the Vegas Golden Knights this evening again. Another 9 p.m. start. Get your coffee
I don't mind
brewed.
that.
I don't. I told you.
I don't
like
mind that now because, one, they're fun to watch, which previously I would almost fall asleep. I don't now. And two, the games are fast enough now.
Yeah.
It's not like the old days where it took it seemed it took in perpetuity to complete games. All right, Dex. Last thing.
Mm-hmm.
If people like what they are hearing right now, how can they hear more Mackie and Judd, Purple Daily, Judd's Hockey Show, etc.?
You hit this little fancy subscribe button. You get a little ding notification every time that we post a video. We get daily Minnesota Wild, Vikings, Timberwolves, even sometimes some Twins conversations right here on our SKOR North YouTube channel. Like us on Apple and Spotify. Rate, subscribe. Download the SKOR North app for everything SKOR North, Judd's written work, our podcast feeds, however you listen to your podcast. But yes, hit the subscribe button right here. We're at 9,400, almost 9,500 subs.
Come on, 95.
On this YouTube
Come on,
channel.
9,500, baby.
We've literally grown it we started putting out videos regularly about a year ago this time, already almost to 10,000 subs on this channel, which is unreal.
And we appreciate it.
And that is all because of you guys. So thank you very much. Hit the subscribe button for more daily conversations. Feedback Friday and Mackie back in tow tomorrow. We'll talk to you then.